Hot 91, the soul of VA. I'm Alana Mercedes, and it's 12 p.m. on a Wednesday, so you already know what time it is. It is time for Club Creative, and today I'm joined by a powerhouse whose voice and vision have shaped culture across Virginia and beyond. She is an award-winning radio personality, the founder of the visual brand Art Rich, host of the Bridge podcast, and a creative force behind countless community-driven projects. Whether she's behind the mic, behind the design, or behind the scenes, mentoring the next generation, she brings intention, depth, and authenticity to everything she touches. So today, we're diving into the mind and mission of a creative who truly does it all. Welcome to Club Creative, Cymandye, Lady C. Russell.
Wow, that was amazing.
I tell y'all, writing the intro is my favorite part of the show. I'm not joking. Like, thank you. I try to encompass, like, as much as I can of who you are in that little paragraph so people get an idea of who they're talking to.
Right.
So first off, thank you for joining me today. Number two, you literally have the coolest name in the world.
Thank you.
Like, yes, your name is so dope. Like, and you're named after a band.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So I can already tell you must have had a really cool musical upbringing.
Yeah.
I can tell.
I mean, just like you playing the strings.
Yes.
And, I love it. So, just grew up. My dad was a Spartan Legion.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, period, Dad. No, that's dope.
And then,
okay.
just music has always been a part of my life. So, I mean, it just,
it only makes sense.
Everything happens.
Absolutely, for a reason. So, like I said, you are a multi-dimensional gem. So many creative talents, but of course, we got to start right here at home.
Yes.
Because you actually, like I said, had your own show here on Hot 91 in 2007. Now, tell me about your time here on air and kind of what that turned into after leaving.
I mean, I always looked at Hot 91 as like the Mickey Mouse Club of this area. So many talent, for so many generations have came out of here. And I just, auditioned, got it. It was in Spartan Station versus this beautiful new studio. You guys definitely need to check it out. But it was we were thrown into the wolves, and it was a real life experience. And I think that anybody that wants to get into radio or anything should definitely seek into things like this.
Okay, absolutely. So you auditioned to be on air. What kind of drew you to wanting to do radio in the first place?
Okay, never mind. I would say like Wendy Williams.
Okay, yeah.
Because I was going to school in Brooklyn out there, and she was doing radio with Charlemagne at that time, so that's telling my age. But, I loved her delivery, but I just wanted to be like a positive version of her versus the gossip and all that stuff. So, Star and Buck Wild were on air when I was listening, and they really, just their rawness and just being the light to their community. Like, that's
okay, that's a really great way to put it. Wanting to be like Wendy Williams, but in a more positive light.
Right.
Okay, because I do love how bold and truth-seeking she is.
Right.
But sometimes it's a little heavy, and I'm like, okay, Wendy, wait a minute. Like, let me bring that back in. But that's excellent. Okay, well then I will say this was a great place to start. I love Hot 91 Down, as you all know. Now, you obviously had some time on air after that as well. So tell me about your career after leaving the station.
Well, I had a show. It was called Mind Beep Radio. It's a cuss word, and it had a lot of great people on there, from Miss Hollywood to Keena to Lonnie B. And it was like a cast of people, but that was freedom. And then I went to radio in North Carolina. At WKJX 96.7 FM, 96.7 The Block. So, doing that Fresh Radio as well. Shout out to Freshtopia.
Hey, can we get a hit laugh?
Yes. And then, and then I stepped away. The thing about radio, a lot of people don't talk about, it's like a lot of attention and just a lot of people, and, you guys get it.
Yeah, I'm kind of still starting out. So explain, like, what do you mean by that?
I'm a shy person naturally, and
I would have never guessed that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I would have never guessed.
But radio really took me out of my shell. So I learned a lot of life lessons through radio, just that helped me. Even with public speaking and things like that. But yeah.
Okay, that's excellent. And I feel like that's the point, though. It's so cool, though, that you had that shyness about you, but you still have this extreme passion, it seems like, of being like the voice for some people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's it makes sense. It makes sense. Now, you also, growing up, because like I said, obviously it starts with the name. I'm believing in this divine timing of that. But growing up, what was it like for you in your household creatively? Like, what made you, because you obviously, like I said, have talents in multiple areas. So what was your childhood like, or growing up years creatively?
Well, my mom's from Thailand, and her dad was actually in a traditional Thai band, so with the xylophones and all those tribal sounds. And so they would travel to different temples in Thailand. So that background didn't, of course, like I said, my dad, Spartan Legion. And then, he played saxophone. He just loved music. I still own his records. Rest in peace, Daddy. But it was just a lot of music, a lot of reggae. And it's crazy because I don't really listen to reggae now. It's like, that's my dad's music,
Oh, I feel that.
But I kind of, listening to so many different types of music. I grew up in the punk and hardcore scene. Boyfriend got me into hip hop and stuff like that, But I played lead bass guitar as well. That's why I was
we connect right there. We need to have a little jam session because that's amazing.
And then just music is life.
No, and that's the truth, though. I feel like music says things that we just can't.
Exactly.
Sometimes, you know what I mean?
Feelings.
And again, it's, feelings, and it's just a language that we all understand, no matter where we come from, no matter the background.
Right.
So that's amazing. Now, you do have, again, talent in graphic design as well, and that's a huge thing of yours. So tell me about that, kind of your upbringing in that, and your professional experience in it, because it's I could list it, but it's so much.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I graduated with a Bachelor in Fine Arts at Norfolk State, behold the green and gold.
Hey.
From there, actually my first jobs were when I was working at Hot 91, and everybody wanted to get on air. So I was like, hey, do you need album art? You need stuff like that? So I kind of hustled my way through the artists that were trying to hustle me.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yes.
Okay? Use the talent that you have. But that's incredible. And then also you did some work you've had some work published in, what was it, Billboard. You've also done, of course, with Patchwork. You were there, senior graphics.
I'm still there.
Oh, period.
10 years.
Wow. Congratulations. You can get a hand clap. That is incredible. And of course, you do have some things coming up with them as well. So we'll definitely get into that. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We have Cymandye, Lady C in the building for Club Creative on Hot 91, the soul of VA. Hot 91, the soul of VA. I'm Alana Mercedes, and for Club Creative today, we are joined by Cymandye, Lady C Russell, and just in continuance with your professional resume, okay, because it is a lengthy one.
Sorry.
But it's great, girl. Absolutely nothing to apologize for. If anything, we need to be giving you an applause. You have done so much, and I was telling Leak Tab off air that I don't know how we're going to cover it all, but it's amazing, and it's inspirational to me personally.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit about your podcast, The Bridge.
Okay.
Because I feel like it literally symbolizes connection, and it feels like a hub for real conversation, real people, and real connection.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to create it, first off?
Well, first of all, I just saw lack of, I guess, visibility of people that I came up with. During the whole Hot 91 era or whatever, they're still working, they're still doing great. So I was like, you know what? I didn't even think of the name The Bridge. Actually, my girl, she went to Norfolk State too, Polka, Tiffany Hunt, you named the podcast.
Hey.
Thank you. But I thought that was great. And, connecting with the bridge, you think about it, the Hampton Roads, we're connected by bridges everywhere.
Oh, that's actually really clever.
So that's where the inspiration came. And just bringing more awareness to the OGs, to the people that are still working, that are still here and still being great.
That is so important because y'all, and I always tell y'all, don't judge me, but when I got on air, I will say I wasn't familiar with all of those who, what is the word, preceded me? Yeah, I wasn't familiar, and as I've been here, I've learned, but that's so important to have a platform for them to keep, I don't want to say keep their name alive, they're gone and not do anything, but legacy is really important. Yeah, so that's incredible. Now with the bridge, who have been your favorite guests?
Honestly, well, I would say Bink Dog and Bodacious. They came together and I was terrified because if you guys, I know y'all listening, y'all familiar with comedian Bodacious and y'all familiar with Bink.
Mm-hmm.
He's very outspoken as well, but you know, they're great guys, teddy bears, and full of knowledge. So
Absolutely. Okay, that sounds incredible. We love somebody again who can pour into us educationally.
Exactly.
Okay, with a little bit of humor. That's the best way to learn.
Yeah.
It really is. But that's so cool that you
you.
have that platform again for that purpose. Now, something else that I think is super cool is again the many creative hats that you have worn: radio, graphic design, podcasting, community work. Was there ever a moment where you felt like you had to choose between the creative path and quote unquote real life? Like, have you ever come to a point where it's like, I either have to clock into this regular job or I have to continue pushing through with the purpose that I feel like I have?
Till this day, you know,
Really?
like I'm a design manager for Virginia Food Group, and you know, Food Group, that tells you right there, is completely different audience and,
Yes,
and
than
just,
this.
and just vibe, period.
Yeah.
So I guess, you know, it was difficult being in the corporate world that pays my bills so I can do the bridge and things like that. You know, I'm a huge believer in having many hats and having many hustles to feed your dreams. And I think a lot of people tend to quit stuff like, oh, I don't need a job, I just want to be a producer until I make it. And it's like, bro, like, you have kids, you have this, like, how are you surviving? Like, you know, it's like being in reality, and you know, it's like, it's great to have these high expectations for yourselves, and you know, like we all do, but I think that it's really, you know, my corporate job is like my teddy bear, but you know, my wings are everything else that I do for the culture.
That was such a beautiful way to put that. No, I seriously, somebody put that on a shirt. I need to write that down. Like, now you are a mom to a gorgeous little rock star. I absolutely love the way that she is so into music.
Yeah.
Have you always had that mindset with wearing multiple hats, or has motherhood kind of shifted you into having that kind of perspective?
Motherhood actually slowed me down. Yeah. Because now I always have to have her in the back of my mind, like, okay, like, who's gonna watch her? What's you know, what's her mood for today? You know, every day is different, you know, as a mom. So did I answer the question? See, that's mom brain.
I mean, technically you did, because she slowed you down, so I'm assuming this is something you've always been able to be good at, juggling multiple things.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's excellent. And what does she think about what you do? Does she think mom is superwoman?
I mean, she grew up in patchwork. Like, I delivered her on the way to a workshop.
Oh my
on the
goodness,
patchwork.
what?
So yeah, so she's used to the studio life. She loves the studio. She loves music. She loves things that she likes, making beats. You know, it's weird because like there's this thing called sprunky, and I'm sure some kids listening know what that is. But she's just always wanted to do music, and now she's in drum lessons at Guitar Center. So it's like awesome.
It's in the bloodline. I obviously, it's just something that's been passed down generationally. It's truly in you guys' bloodline.
Well,
Do you ever play music with her?
We
Y'all have little jam sessions together?
We do. It's cute.
Well, that's awesome, and I hope that I see her playing more. I
Yeah.
saw that she got into drums, and I think that is so cool.
Y'all need to be in a band.
I would look 100%. I was just telling my friend that I miss jamming with people. And how old's your daughter?
She's about to be 8.
Okay, look, hey, you can get practice from anywhere, so I would absolutely do that. Now, switching gears a little bit, but still kind of along that same line of having that sense of self-discovery, rather, through creativity. Do you feel like your creativity helped you discover who you are, or was it the other way around, as in you used creativity as a portal to show the world who you are instead?
That is exactly it. The last one.
Wow. Well, I want you to answer first, but it just blows my mind how you say that you're a shy person, but like you have all of the pieces of a real loud, bold extrovert. Maybe your extroversion comes through your art, but
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me how though.
I would say it just, you know, even with production, you know, a lot of people don't know that I got into producing And that shift, it's like, to me, it's like I just grow with the different medium, like, so whether it be painting one season, whether it be, like, I really want to get into pottery soon, so, but, production is another style. So I just feel like that they're just means for me to express myself in different ways. So
that's incredible. Okay, so you have multiple outlets of just showing the world who you are. And I was telling you a little bit off air about how that was something I struggled with for a while.
Right.
But I think that it's so cool to have creatives who are able to literally paint pictures of themselves, if you would,
right,
through their art, through their creative expression. Yeah. And now you're somebody who gives a lot to the community as well, radio events. Radio events, podcasting, just giving a lot of yourself through these creative outlets. How do you, if you ever feel like you need to, refill your cup?
With time, space. Like one of my friends, Miss Lee, she always says stillness. I've been using that a lot, especially as of late, just to become more grounded again. But oh, what was the question again, girl?
No, you're good. I feel like this is how, no, your side note, but this is how creative minds work. Not to beat the word creative into the ground, but it's true. It's just always 100 different
ADD
things.
is real, okay?
Yes, but just somebody, like, how do you refill yourself with so much of yourself being given in these many
just
different
reinventing
pursuits?
yourself. That's what I was trying to get to.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, just keep reinventing yourself and just keep doing, like, art is, as a fine arts grad, art is huge. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just limit yourself to just one thing. You gotta blow glass, you gotta paint, you gotta do mosaics, you gotta do everything.
Yes.
And that's what I love about art, just music, dance, all that. It's all tied.
I love that. It's just multiple ways of expressing yourself. And I think as humans, that's important, especially for our listeners who might have the teddy bear job, most of the time. I think it's important to find the place where you are able to spread your wings, no matter what that looks like, whether that's, like you said, drawing, painting, singing, dancing, whatever the case may be. Do you feel like creating helps you to work through anything emotionally or mental blocks that you have? Do you have mental blocks?
Yes.
Why do I feel like you don't? Like,
girl, I do all the time. Brain fart. No, but I think just getting into creative zone, like, if I get super frustrated, I'm like, you know what, forget this, I'm gonna make a beat. Or just something, I'm gonna, even Canva, like, I'm a graphic designer, but I love Canva.
I do too.
So I'm gonna go on Canva and get some ideas, get inspired. Like, inspiration keeps me going and keeps me focused.
So it sounds like, in general, this is just a very big part of, if not the majority of your life, is just creative output.
Yeah,
that's incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, sit tight. We got Cymandye in the building for Club Creative on Hot 91, the soul of VA. Hot 91, the soul of VA. I'm Alana Mercedes at Club Creative Hour with none other than Lady C, Cymandye Russell.
Hey.
And also, Cymandye, I meant to say, we have since retired Hot 91, apparently.
Oh, really?
When I first got on air, I was saying that. They were like, we're not Hot 91 anymore. I was
Hot.
Like, Hot 91.
All the spit on the mic.
Literally. But that's the Hot 91 that I grew up on. So I was, that's what I was familiar with. Now, you have been in the game for a while, seen so many places, worked with amazing people. You've become an amazing talent yourself. I mean, been that. But I mean, one that people know now. You know what I mean? But what advice would you have given to your younger creative self back when you were just starting out, maybe even still that shy person, like afraid to put yourself out there? What kind of advice would you give?
Oh my gosh. That's a tough one. I would just say focus and get your emotions out of it. Don't let these people bother you. The crab in the barrel is real, and it's been here and it's still here, but you gotta, kind of rise above that.
Wait, so the crabs in a barrel thing, because I've heard that way too much when it comes to Virginia. How do you think, well, number one, what makes us have that mindset? And how do you think we can better bridge the gap between creatives and resources here? Because like I said, all of the guests that I've had have mentioned that.
Well, I think sometimes the crabs be calling it out too. So let's keep it real. But at the end of the day, I think crab in the barrel mentality is everywhere. It's just, like people are hungry and they want to be on top, so they're going to push you down to get there no matter how. It's just a matter of like character and who they are. But that type of person exists everywhere, and just avoid them. Be positive.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. Be positive and be you. I feel like that's going to carry you no matter what anyway.
Yes.
Just be yourself.
Yes,
now, being that you've done so much for the 757 and beyond, what do you think Virginia's creative scene still, or why rather do you think Virginia's creative scene still feels like a hidden gem? Like we're not as big as I would say like Atlanta per se. Or,
I think it's kind of weird because it's like, when I think of creative stuff, it seems like it's a lot of, we're still a military state and it's a lot of politics involved. So everything that could be dope and creative ends up feeling like a political campaign. It doesn't feel like it's for creatives. It feels like, oh, at the end of the day, vote for me. And you know what I mean? Like, so it's not, but compared to what I experienced in Atlanta, it's like they let the people be creative and give them their flowers. It's not about, hey, vote for me. It's about, hey, here's your flowers. Thank you for serving our community with your excellence in arts. But here it's like, I mean, if you want to have this event, you got to show love to this politician. You know what I mean? It's nothing. It's not a art-serving community. And until then, that's why you hear about these different art buildings closing down and stuff like that. It's sad. But I think that, I don't know, I hope somebody takes that personally when I say that, but it's not about the politics. It's about the art when it comes down to it. And that's coming from an art grad. That's the foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you on that one. I think that we could do a better job of removing the politics from it and just allowing it to be what it is. And I feel like we're trying to do that with places like, okay, we have the Neon District. I don't know how political that has gotten.
Right.
But we have, the Neon District. We have organizations like, I just interviewed Utopia Finney.
Yes.
So Raisa of Utopia Finney. Of course, we have Social Supply here.
Right.
We have a couple of organizations.
They're all creatives.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's different. It's like, yeah, they're all creative people that are the foundation of that. So if we have more people, organizations that are based on the actual arts and pouring the arts in the community versus an agenda, then I think that we would do a lot better as a arts community.
I totally can see what you're saying with that. Okay, I agree. All right, y'all. So how are we going to do better? What can Virginia do to move forward, or the 757 at least, with building that kind of creative community? What kind of steps do you think we could take with releasing us from the shackles of the political agenda? Okay.
I'm from Williamsburg, too, so it's real. It's been there.
Yes. But calling, all of my listeners, let me know. What do y'all think that we could do differently? And you've always had a deep connection to the community, it seems.
Okay.
So why is it important to you to pour into this local talent, the local youth? Like, what kind of role does that play in your life in bringing up the next generation of creatives or entertainers or...
I think just speaking from experience, like I said, I'm from Williamsburg, Jamestown. Shout out to you.
Oh, you're from Jamestown?
Yeah, I went to Jamestown High School.
Oh, wow. Okay, Vera. I thought that was just a place for like the field trips we used to go on.
That's we graduated
crazy.
On the settlement actually, which is crazy. But yeah, like when you think of that area, when you think of Williamsburg and Jamestown, you don't think about a music scene. You don't think about there's producers. You don't think about athletes. But we do have a lot of people coming out of there, but it's just the lack of resources in my hometown that I felt like I wanted to be a part of helping spread any knowledge of professionalism, any knowledge of music business, not just the arts, but just how to really maneuver in the real world.
Yes.
entertainment.
Okay, and you're doing a beautiful job of doing that. Seriously, like the work speaks for itself, so I love what you're doing. And speaking of what are you doing, what are you doing? What do you have coming up? What are you working on?
Okay, well, you know, I don't know if you know, but the William and Mary, there's the College of William and Mary, well, now they're a university, they have a Virginia hip hop collection and I've been helping them just spread awareness with that. Also, Block from Block Entertainment. I'm helping him with his rebuilding hip hop block by block.
Incredible.
So he's looking for talent. If you're familiar with him, he's helped with Boys in the Hood, Gorilla Zoe, Young Jock. And also, I still work with Patchwork Recording Studios in Atlanta. We're celebrating 30 years of excellence with a festival in July and a 5K where we run Atlanta in September.
That sounds so exciting. How can people get involved if they want to be at any of these events?
Just follow Patchwork Studio, and that's PATCHWERK Studio. And if you want to know about more of what Block got going on, Big Block ESC on Instagram, but you can find me at Connect with the Bridge.
Okay. Thank you so much, Cymandye. I
you.
love all of that info, number one, and I definitely would love to get involved as well.
Yes,
because I love what you're doing. Like I said, it's super important for the community at the end of the day. So thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for the info. Thank you for shedding your light. I really appreciate that. I don't care if you say you are shy. I can see how you are like reserved, but it still gives. Yeah, it just gives, like, you still have a very bright light, and I love and appreciate that.
Thank you.
Of course. So thank you for hanging out with us today at Club Creative. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Have your mental health moment with Mercedes coming up on Hot 91, the Soul of VA.